Good morning, good evening, and a good night. Last show of the week, ladies and gentlemen, NFT live on the Web3 network. We're here every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. We also are here 9 p.m. Eastern Standard to take in a speakeasy. That is going to be tonight. If you don't know about speakeasy, it is a great Twitter Spaces. I don't know if you take it, in that medium. Everybody has their own kind of way to consume content. But Twitter Spaces tonight, 9 p.m. Follow the Web3 network. I'll link it right now. And we have Kane Mayfield and Easy and Crypto, some great creators on the channel here. And I'm excited. Frankly, I'm excited because the last time anybody saw Kane Mayfield, he was absolutely obliterating Gift Dead's man bun, or at least I've been told. Take it off. Oh, it's there. Yeah, put that back on. Actually,
It's a mess right now.
Yeah,
bro.
I see it. What's up, dude? Hey, everybody in chat as well. What's going on? We see you. Thank you for showing up here. Last show of the week, Thursdays. What's up?
Q, you look like you are still waking up, my friend. Are you
Really?
alive? Are you all there?
What? You think this is
great.
me waking up? I'm like, wait, is it just because there's like bags under my eyes or what?
I don't know. You just look like you're still waking up, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm projecting onto you the fact that I am exhausted from all the NFT LA stuff.
I was just screaming for the last 45 seconds. Like All right, I guess that's how I look. Are you still feeling NFT LA? I know you're like in the midst of it.
You look great, Q. Yeah.
Thanks.
I went out to Jessica's Room 707 event last night. Very nice, intimate poetry reading. It was her and a couple other poets doing their thing. It was awesome. And then we got to get dinner afterwards, which was really nice because I don't really usually get to spend that much time hanging out with Jess IRL like that. So it was nice for us to kind of like have a chill evening with a couple friends and some good food and some drink. It was great. And then tonight I might do Renga. There's a Renga event. We'll see. I'm also kind of feeling like maybe I just take it easy today and then go out tomorrow because it's Friday. But we'll see. Maybe Renga is on. Maybe that's the move today.
Keep me up to date with the floor price on Renga as the event goes live too. I need those. I need that information. Yo, Arbitrum Airdrop just went live as well. We have the Dune dashboard that is tracking how much ARB is being dropped, how much has been claimed, what is the price, which I believe right now it's like $1.30. Some people were able to sell up at $8. So if that was you, good job. Jacob Gooden saying Q is looking more awake than GIF for sure. Don R saying OVOT lift those spirits. The show is on. We see you, Sir Billy, GM. Nox Darkness, Hash Rhymes, OVOT. We're just getting started on today's episode. We're not going to go max FUD, okay? We're not going max FUD like, hey, Gensler's going crazy. Hey, the SEC is going to ruin crypto because, for all intents and purposes, it's holding up well. And when I say it, I mean just us, the market. We're doing okay. Ethereum and Bitcoin are up on the day. So although there's all this relatively hard scrutiny that's happening to crypto and blockchain, we seem to be doing okay.
We're all right. We're okay, right? We're hanging in there.
I think so. We're going to talk on the GM Web3 morning show here in just a second. We had an extra special guest that hopefully we can get on to NFT Live next week. But here is the tweet for NFT Live today. As you guys know, help us out. Get out a retweet, get out a like, and I will give away some ApeCoin today. We'll do. Let's see. What is it? What is a dollar? What is ApeCoin at? Is ApeCoin at $100 yet?
It should be.
Okay, I don't think it is quite yet. So I'll go ahead and give $25 in ApeCoin away here. You have to leave a comment right under the Hasbullah or above the Hasbullah, however you see it in your timeline, probably above. And you have to comment on a topic that you'd like us to touch on today. I will pick. You know what? I'm feeling pretty generous. 2. I will pick 2. So a total of $50 split between 2 people. $25, $25 for those of you that drop a comment right here telling us what you want us to talk about today.
That is extremely generous, Q.
I'm in a generous mood. Before the AI take over, I need to get all of my sins off the books and be a good person. So that is it. Left Action House is saying the bull run has been on for 3 months. Just look at the charts. Yeah. Which charts are we looking at? We're not looking at blue chip
Not
charts. I'll tell you
yeah,
that.
not the PFP index. That's all time low. Or like, yeah, what was that NFT statistics too? It's basically at the lowest it's been.
Yeah, yeah. It is 1 year lows on the blue chip index. This is including. I always assume what's in the blue chip index. You know, we need to go back to our handy dandy. Oh god dang it! The we haven't done it in so long. Rate my bags, but I always assume what's in someone's blue chip index. What's in a blue chip index? Probably Moonbird's getting wrecked, Doodles getting wrecked. I don't think Cool Cat's made that chart, but yeah, I'll bring it up here in just a second. GIF, hit him with the disclaimer as well, and we will talk on the GM Week 3 morning show, and you can let them know who our guest was.
Heck yeah. Here we go. This is not financial advice, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. So please do your own research, or DYOR, as we always like to say in the space, because we're not financial advisors.
Not yet.
We're just here. Not yet. Nifty Q is working on it. Nifty Q will be a financial advisor one day, but we are not financial advisors.
Okay, so we have the Web3 tweet up here as well. Who is our handy dandy guest, and who are we trying to get on the network next week? Because we use his resources a lot, and I thought it was a cool conversation.
It was awesome. It was amazing. Are you kidding? Ralph Quintero? What a guy. So I guess the story
Quintero.
Here. Quintero.
No, no. It's not Italian.
Just make it Italian.
Quintero. You gotta say it. Quintero.
No. So Ralph Quintero, better known or best known for his amazing email blasts called the Daily Ralpha. We connected last night. Shout out NFT Go, Jared. They put me on one of their regular spaces, and Ralph was there too. And we connected, had a great convo, and I invited him, and he showed up this morning. He came through in a big way to participate in GM Web3, and it was awesome. And yeah, want to bring him back whenever we can, because he's an amazing guest. He's deep in it. He's got lots of Ralpha, as he calls it. So yeah, hopefully we can get him on here on NFT Live maybe next week as well. But it was great getting to chat with him this morning. And if you don't know about the Daily Ralpha, I mean, we should pull up his Twitter. Can we pull up Ralph Quintero? Yeah, it's one of the best resources for just like daily alpha or updates about what's going on around the space. And he puts it together pretty much every single day. It's really awesome. So highly recommend. And like Q was saying, this is one of the resources that we definitely use on almost a daily basis. I am checking it out, pulling, different bits from it, different stories that we want to cover. And it's great. So there you go. Shout out.
There's a Substack piece, because I believe he uses Substack. So I was trying to actually get into the content, because it really is. It's packaged well. It takes, again, about 5 to 10 minutes on the reading side, and you can do your deep dives if you need to. But yeah, let's talk to Ralph next week. I'd love to do that. Big shout out to the Daily Ralpha. Left Action House saying, I don't know. When I look up at any chart, we're going up. I'm talking coins, not NFTs. That's fair, right? That's pretty fair. Bitcoin sitting at 28K. I think over the last 3 months, we've seen some really great growth there. So if we zoom out to 90 days... allergies kicking my ass. If we go 90 days, 16,000. We're up almost 12 G's on Bitcoin in the last 3 months. So starting the year really nicely. What this means for the broader space we've been talking about, it has been the major topic of, I would say, the last 3 NFT lives. We kind of got through the rate hikes yesterday. Nothing crazy happened. I know there was an initial little wick downwards to 26. ETH is holding as well. If we go to the ETH chart, we can check that out as well over the last 90 days. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that 15 to 20K range really was the buying opportunity. I think a lot of people kind of felt that way, and the smart people were buying in that range. And I had a strong feeling with Polygon when it was under $1 that, just with the amount of development and things that were happening, that it would likely be hard to get it at those prices again, maybe ever, for a long time. So far, that prediction's looking pretty good. Right now, the way that I'm having kind of a similar feeling with ETH and Bitcoin. Like, it's hard for me to imagine right now that we're going to go back to those same lows from where we've come. I don't know. Again, NFA, we're not financial advisors. We just said that, and we'll say it again. But just based on everything that's happening and how the momentum has swung in that 90-day chart and all of that, it's hard for me to see us going back down below those lows again. Like, we might swing back down again, test another bottom, but like that 15 to 20K range for Bitcoin seems pretty solid to me. But
yeah, we're looking really good again. Left, I appreciate you bringing in that perspective, because we are looking good on the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and relatively okay on the altcoin side. Like, we've seen some growth. Obviously, being in the Yuga ecosystem, we follow Ape pretty closely. That staking is been profitable even with the drop in the staking output, but it's not really pumping. So does that mean that altcoin season is next? We will see. I know, Gif, you were talking about this on, I think, the GM Web3 Morning Show yesterday, where you were like, should I rotate into Ethereum or Bitcoin? Well, I'm going to pull up NFT statistics. This is what we were talking about. So 5 hours ago, a seller just dumped 10 BAYCs into Blur bids. So we've been covering Blur, but here's, more of the same. We got my large cap PFP index is hitting 1-year lows, levels we haven't really seen since 2001, which is why it's such an interesting time in the industry right now. I think we asked Ralph this morning, like, hey, what's the deal? Bitcoin's going up. Usually that means a rotation into alts. NFTs are fucking wrecked. And he was like, yeah, we don't know what's happening. Like, this is a great time to buy, obviously, like, not financial advice, but he was looking at a couple different projects, like even Doodles. He has some long-term conviction on, but the large cap PFP index is wrecked. Like, what do we do in this environment? I think most people holding NFTs are wondering, because we did have a little bit of a pump in January. We saw, the Lucreces, the Neon Cats, like all of these like small little pumps. But as you can see there, large cap PFP index is down fucking like nuts over the last year.
Yeah, the Jack Butchers and all that checks. Again, a lot of that came from some new tech on the manifold side, with burn mechanics and all that stuff. So I think that's going to be par for course for like NFTs, is whenever like there's a new mechanic or opportunity for artists to create a cool experience for their communities. I think we'll see new metas pop up and come and go. But yeah, again, I think we were calling that, and we all knew that wasn't like, we weren't exiting the NFT bear market. We were just seeing some temporary interest and relief from the horror that is our day-to-day lives right now. But yeah, man, I think what I'm trying to do right now in my head is understand how NFTs fit into the crypto market with the context of like, okay, you've got the BTC and the ETH sort of like our mainstays, right? These are our what do you call it? Like, this is your primary, your girlfriend or your significant other, your boyfriend. This is the one that you take home to your parents. This is the one that like you're proud of, that you're taking seriously, that you're dating seriously. And then you've got like your side piece, which is the altcoins. You know what I mean? You've got the shit coins, the altcoins, and it's like, you see them sometimes for fun when they're up or they're down.
But super volatile.
Yeah, super volatile. You don't really trust them that much. Yeah. So it's like you got your side piece, which is the altcoin, shitcoin, market. And so like, sometimes, they do really well for you. Sometimes they're there when you need them. But you don't take them super seriously. You don't attach yourself to them in any meaningful sort of way. What are the NFTs here? Where do they? No, like that's the thing, is like, where do the NFTs fit into this metaphor, right? Like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It feels like NFTs
they are altcoins. They like, you have to. NFTs are very broad asset class. So I just want to say that. But like in this analogy, what you're trying to say, like they're just a higher leveraged altcoin in a sense.
Higher leveraged altcoin.
When I look at the industry, Bitcoin is I don't know about the risk reward. Like, don't ask me about technicals, but when I look at what is most risky down that funnel from Bitcoin, which is the least risky, to maybe Ethereum, maybe down the funnel, like all the way down the funnel is NFTs. You know, like there's like probably 50 altcoins that are less risky to get into than NFTs. That's what I meant.
And I agree. And I'm just trying to think of it like how it fits into the world and the analogy and how they kind of work together from a dynamic relationship perspective. And I think Don R is saying it well here. And that's that NFTs are the last link in the chain. They'll get whipped around more, but that goes in both directions.
It is.
Right? Yes. They're the sexy cousin. So like they're higher risk, but maybe higher reward.
This is getting weird. Unless you're in Alabama, this is getting super fucking weird. And I will say that I graduated from the University of Alabama. So
I wish I had like a colorful hoodie on so I could just homer my way into the background, just like slowly fade.
You started this. You started this. Hey, a great conversation actually happening in chat here. Here's, and I'm not going to bring Blur early in this conversation, but here's what Blur is showing us is within this environment where BTC is running, ETH's running, some other, altcoins could potentially be running. There's a comment here. Let me make sure I get it right. Folks are turning to secure money versus cute profile pictures. Let's see. There was a specific one. Gotrops is saying, be honest, most PFPs are worthless. You can't say most BTC is worthless. Well, you can't see, I don't know where the most BTC is worthless. It's just one asset. But the first part of that comment is exactly what we've been talking about since Blur has kind of shown us what's going on, is that it's highlighting the fact that a lot of PFPs were backed by the narrative of the time. There wasn't much backing it other than that it was existing in this environment where everyone was speculating heavily. Is it fair to say that?
A lot of them, but a lot of them are about investing in artists and in founders and in product ideas and in communities, right? So like, yes, there's a lot of them that are, again, I love this term. Who did I take this from? Shit, I gave them credit, but I want to keep giving them credit and I forget. But like the idea of a PFP and a promise, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of them are literally just a PFP and a promise, but a lot of them are tied to really legit artists or upcoming artists, or they're actually good art, or have a legit community and a legit purpose and a legit product that they're developing, right? So they're not all the same. That's the thing. That's part of what's so exciting about being in the space and why we can host several shows talking about this shit, because there's a lot to dig into. And it's not like we can't just paint it all one broad brush.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the net, side effect of Blur right now is that that's what people are doing. Again, they've thrown out everything else and just focused on the financialization and farming incentive. So that's why, like, even though they're not all the same, they're all being treated the same right now in Blur.
I had a conversation with Mike yesterday, and he very just bluntly, like, we weren't even really like deep into a combo. He was like, yeah, it's a trader's market right now. Like we weren't like heavy into a Blur conversation or anything. He was just like, yeah, it's a trader's market. This is what's happening. So I think that we had that combo yesterday of like the pendulum and where we're at.
Can't wait for a collector's market, but I feel like it's going to be a minute.
I can't either. My flagged Bored Ape cannot wait for someone to want to buy it. Anyways, here's the one thing that is also happening in chat too. It's talking about like the viability of profile pictures, right? Because I think Gott was saying, say it out loud, profile picture. Then think, is this secure money? Which is where we were talking about the flight to safety with CryptoPunks. But you have to look at CryptoPunks not as profile pictures, but as art, as high-end digital art, which I completely agree with. I also believe historically
important digital art.
And I also believe that the profile picture trend will not end. It might look different, We saw really high-end profile pictures, quote unquote, in that run. Will that come back? Of course. But you will also see like profile pictures that are worth, $10, $15, except that they will have the permissionless and decentralized ownership that you see with NFTs. That will not go away. That will be a really cool thing in that Ready Player One vibe of saying, "Hey, I own the things that I'm displaying to the world." Profile pictures are going to blow the fuck up. That like this is what gets lost in everything. Everyone's like, PFPs are dead. It's like, dude, there's 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world that want to be, unique in a digital environment. I promise you, as the world moves more digitally, we will have more PFPs.
And it's more than just a desire to create a digital identity and be unique. It's to also belong to a community that you identify with, right? So there's a lot to that. The being in an exclusive club, I think that the whole club thing, like we are still just scratching the surface of the concept of clubs. And you're starting to see, again, these IRL country clubs, these Web3 country clubs, as I've been calling them, starting to pop up in LA all over the place. Again, they're all trying to figure out models. I don't think that anybody's mastered the model yet, but
yeah,
I still think that the access pass to being in a cool club is one of the most underrated, not fully yet like understood value of NFTs. Like, everybody's doing access passes, and yes, there's a lot of clubs and things like that. But like Bored Ape Yacht Club is the only one that's kind of, I think, really started to create something that people are like, holy shit, like being in this changes my life. I think that there's going to be a lot of other opportunities in the not too distant future. Proof Collective was kind of like that for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like they've kind of fallen off maybe, but like the idea of being in a super valuable and club, and then also having physical components to that and actual community building around that. Like, I think we are literally at the very, very beginning of how powerful this can be. And to your point, like it's so early in terms of the amount of people that are all going to be living in the metaverse and online.
Agreed. Okay, great points there, talking about profile pictures and also passes. Like I think that's another thing to hit on. It's like NFTs don't have to be PFPs. Like the Wagner United one, we gave them shit because they weren't PFPs, or like they tried to do now both. I believe, but like they could be passes. Just make them kind of unique, other than a dude sitting on a devil sitting on a chair. Like, all right, no Wagner fun for one day.
Yeah. Well, real quick, also, Donar is adding in another layer to this, right? And that's the status. Because one of the great things that we were talking about on the Fuss Pod, on the premiere episode, whatever, is dating in the metaverse, or like, what does that look like? And having different assets that you show off as part of your digital identity in both AR, VR, and metaverse environments digitally, that like these things are mattering more and more and more to your identity and your social status. And, like historically, the thing has been, hey, if you park a Bentley outside of the club, you're probably going to get a lot of sexual attention and sexual value out of positioning yourself that way. But what if the future is dating in the metaverse, dating online in these ways? What's the analog or the equivalent of parking a Bentley outside of the club? It's probably going to be having some legit digital assets, or being part of a club, having access to the club, all these things. So
you saw that a little bit with BAYC, to your point, and other projects at the height of the bull market. You definitely saw that. Your ability to flaunt these things when people understood what NFTs were.
Turd-colored glasses. That is exactly how everything's being looked at right now, Donar.
All right, so we've got the ARB supply here in the amount claimed so far. So the Arbitrum token obviously is getting airdropped to a bunch of people who were either playing the activity card to try to wait for this airdrop, or like actively involved in Arbitrum. So we're going to go to our handy dandy Dune Analytics dashboard here. So the initial ARB supply is going to start out with 10 bill. Part of that is going to be 12.75% going to this airdrop. If we go down here, we can see how much has been claimed up to this point. So only 54% of the tokens of that 1.1 billion or 1.16 billion has been claimed. Addresses 330,000 have claimed, and then 600,000 addresses were eligible for this. So current price, I believe, is sitting around $1.37. So congrats again. Love to see some wins. Obviously, stimmies are nice things for not only the micro ecosystem that it's within, Arbitrum. I think some people were trying to play like Arbitrum NFTs or things like this, but I'm sure that makes its way into the NFT space as well.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, it's always great when people are winning in the space, especially during these turd colored glasses times. Also, yeah, GAT traps. You got to get it right, Q. Come on, man. He's calling you out.
It's not GOT?
Nah.
Okay. Sorry, GAT traps. My bad. Is that like a play on words? What am I missing?
I don't know.
All right.
I think, yeah.
Hey, a couple things that are happening right now before we get into some other quick hits, including SEC versus Coinbase. We asked you to go to this link and leave a comment here. It's in the comments section, folks. For those of you that are quote tweeting in and things like this, I'm gonna drop it one more time. We're gonna pick 2 winners. Right now, we have 2 individuals who have jumped on. Silent Kingdom saying, "What's your thoughts on the X copy rumors for tomorrow?" And Nox Darkness is asking, "I'd be grateful if you guys could do an update on the whole Bitcoin ordinals thing and the mechanics of minting on ETH and then burning to Bitcoin." That's a technical question. I will say, like, outside the technical piece here, there's some interesting like microeconomic features here, right? Like some financial features. Like there are people that are moving, somehow signaling that they own like an ape, for example, and it appearing or them minting it on the Bitcoin blockchain. So there are some that are like saying, hey, we're not burning this NFT asset on, for example, Ethereum, but we're signaling that you own that. So the supply is still capped, but you don't have to burn the asset. That's where I'm interested at right now, is like what makes sense, right? Because no one's gonna burn, I think, unless you were. I think we had one Bored Ape Yacht Club that was actually burned and inscripted on the Bitcoin blockchain. But over the course of time, like, you're not going to see multiple people be doing this. Maybe the one can gain some value because it is that first. But yeah, I'm interested in the signal, right? You can have both on both chains and whether you even want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't like Gordon or somebody like came out immediately and was like, yeah, we don't support this. like you're not part of the ecosystem anymore when you do this. So just know, like,
well, not technically, yeah.
But I feel like immediately they responded and were just like, hey, this isn't a good idea if you think that you're like gonna get value from our ecosystem by burning your ape for an ordinal. Like, no. So but the historic relevance of maybe having the first ape that was burned, like, maybe that's worth something. Again, we'll see.
This is looking at your PFP, not like art, though, right? Like, if you're looking at it just like art, you don't really give a fuck what Garg is saying. It's still the profile picture or the picture, and it's still now on one of the most secure blockchains. You're looking at it from a business perspective.
I look at it as both. Why do I have to select one or the other when I can just keep it as the original asset, and it's both a cool piece of art and a utility play? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I see what you're saying, but like it's kind of like you're forcing it to be something that it's already better than. So I don't know. That's an interesting combo. But on the like ordinals front, one interesting thing was that Magic Eden now has an ordinals marketplace, so we can check back in on that as it goes. As far as like burning mechanics, I have not done this myself, so I can't get too into the weeds on it. But my understanding of like what people are doing is they're using Ethereum NFTs to like handle the mint and the smart contract and the claiming and the community aspect of everything, and then basically giving you, just like, you could like soul bind your token or burn it for something else. They're giving you the option of taking that Ethereum NFT and burning it, and that is your way of claiming a specific inscription. I don't know the like interplay, again, to your point, the technical, like how do you then get the inscription? I think that's where it gets really weird because a lot of stuff seems to happen OTC still. There's not a lot of infrastructure, as far as I can tell, for wallets that can handle inscriptions still. So you got to figure out like how you're doing all of that. So that's where I don't know. And I guess, you know, every project is probably doing their own thing, right? Every project is probably trying to figure out the best situation and solution that serves their community the best. But that's my understanding, right? Is they're just using ETH NFTs to initialize the sale and the transactions and get the community going. Because again, you don't even really have support for a lot of that on Bitcoin unless maybe you're doing it through stacks. Again, I think that's the purpose of stacks, is to kind of replace a lot of the smart contract utilities and things that just don't exist on Bitcoin at all, and try and provide some of that community support. So yeah, that's it. That's my understanding. Again, I have not done the burning process, so I can't get more into the weeds on that, but I think it makes sense. Like, again, if you're trying to get people into your Ordinals project and launch it a certain way using a lot of smart contract features, then using Ethereum to do that, and then a burn mechanic, you know, to get you your inscription, I think it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, why not just create the collection on Bitcoin to begin with? If you're starting a new project, you would just start with Bitcoin? You wouldn't start on ETH and then burn it to Bitcoin.
So to me, that's maybe the most straightforward way to do it, but you have no smart contract like functions or utilities.
That's fair. That's
you know
fair.
what I mean? Like again, there's a lot of utilities that a smart contract and a marketplace like an OpenSea or, you know, other NFT marketplace has that you don't have. And you might want to have, like, think about like what we've seen with 12Fold. There's really not been, like, they had to do a weird sort of auction situation. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that they probably got the success that they did is because it
was a manual process.
It's Yuga. It's a manual process. And then where's the secondary market for it right now? It doesn't seem like it's happening, right? Yeah. So it's like, if you want to actually raise some money, have a secondary market, be able to even enable transactions, much less all of the other community tools around that, like, you can't do any of that if you just go straight into Bitcoin. There's just no support.
So I'm going to pull up the Magic Eden marketplace real quick, just a quick look into what's being traded there, as well as there's a really cool video that I want to show off from Magic Eden as well, of them building this Bitcoin marketplace, but also their thesis around why they did it. I have to address in the chat. Gat is saying move an ape to BTC. That's bad. Remove all utility and exit the item off its native platform. I don't get it. You have to think a little bit abstractly here, and I know you'll get it like in other plays, but we just have to make the connection. Like burning a Banksy, for example, is not like logically, if you think about it, it's like you don't have it anymore. Like you literally do not have it anymore in the physical if you burn it. But if you have the ability to then represent it as a digital piece, maybe you're creating some historical value for it, which is exactly what's happening here. If the one dude is able to get his Bored Ape onto Bitcoin blockchain, which Quantum Variant's mentioning, storage on Bitcoin is interesting. It is the preeminent blockchain in the history of the world. If you put an ape, which is the most important NFT, quote unquote, from a market cap perspective, maybe I'll get shit on for by any CryptoPunks here, but that's the idea, is burn the ape, move it to Bitcoin. It's the first one. It has value.
So let me add a couple things to this, because part of what this process of burning is, it is also performance, right? So it is a piece of performance art just as much as anything else to actually undergo this and promote it and share it. And then it becomes a headline. Now it's part of the story of this piece. All of these things factor into the value of a piece of art, right? So the performative aspects of burning, being the first to burn, to making it, you know, a moment in the history of NFTs, getting headlines written up about it, getting everybody talking about it. This is all also art. Like, you know, if you think about like what performance art is, so that can all add into this as well. One thing that I wanted to add into this that I think really interesting to think about within the context of, you know, BTC, why people would move things there and like using Bitcoin as like storage. it's like, what then is the value of that storage, or how do you contextualize Bitcoin storage within a collection or a bigger narrative or something else? And what I mean is, at the Oniforce party here during NFT LA, where they shared a bunch of different, alpha and top secret things that they've been working on, things that they're doing with the Oniforce project. One of the things that they shared is that they created, I think it's 7 or 8. They minted the main characters for their upcoming comic books and origin stories for Oniforce. So it's only 7 or 8 characters, but these are like special designed Oniforce characters from their world that are going to be the lead characters in the bigger Oniforce stories that they're going to be publishing globally and distributing to everybody, that they're building the whole IP around these main 7 or 8 characters. They minted those to Bitcoin and basically said, we are treating Bitcoin ordinals like our museum. So that's how they are like thinking of it within the bigger narrative and the story of their NFT project, which is an ETH-based project.
Yeah.
But they're saying, hey, we are using this as our like really high-end museum for these key characters.
Also, contextualize this with a project like Solana, which has had a shaky, run of it, right? Like it's easy to, I think it's harder to make this contextualization with ETH, which we believe is going to be around for forever. Right. But like Bitcoin, for our understanding, is going to be around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. This is the idea. You can't say the same thing about a Harmony. You can't say the same thing about an Arbitrum. You can't say the same thing. So the longevity is what you're getting when you move it to the Bitcoin blockchain. If you have a project that needs to be moved off of, and we'll see this in the future. Like what happened to Harmony projects? I think Harmony still exists today, but like there are chains that you will need to eventually move from, and what happens to the community that you've built there? What happens to the assets that you built there? We don't have this discussion because we think Ethereum is going to be around just as long as Bitcoin, or at least close to, but some other projects are going to completely fold. What happens?
I think this is where I tried to coin the term snow crashed when we were talking about, I think it was Nat Geo that launched on some new platform called Snow Crash or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was like immediately a rug, like the tech wasn't working. Everybody found out that they're stuck on this fucking platform. It's a disaster when you don't execute decentralized assets in a decentralized way, or do it properly on a reliable chain that, isn't going to disappear or go down all the time. So anyway,
let's see what Magic Eden literally built this marketplace give. Let's see what they have to say, because I think they go through some of their thesis.
Let's go.
Heard this Bitcoin audience opportunity, the whole company got so excited. That's why we rented this big house and brought all engineers here and try to hack this stuff.
There's so much interest within the engineering team that we created a little hackathon.
The Bitcoin blockchain has been there for 14 years. There's no signs of stopping it.
Everything is on-chain. There's no off-chain metadata. That's really pure. Traditional NFTs, you put your metadata in a promo web. But Bitcoin it's all on-chain. So it's more limiting, but it's very pure. It's going to be there forever.
We always had this philosophy that we should go to the users, not have the users come to us. So it's quite natural for us to think about supporting users in different chains.
They work really hard. I can see the engineers sometimes they stay up till 3 and 4 just to make things work.
I think it went great. We actually did marketplace that people can trade, can view your collections.
The buyer paid, and then this goes to the seller.
I'm constantly every day surprised about how much work and how much creativity that this small group of engineers do.
We have the best team. They know how to have fun.
Okay, so we got kind of the concept that they were going off. I mean, they mentioned a few there, right? Like Bitcoin, the blockchain is going to be around forever. And that's a simplistic take, but sometimes the best, arguments are simple. The Bitcoin blockchain will be here forever. Therefore, if you want to inscribe, just like Gift Ed was saying, a museum for certain NFTs, that's what you do. So That it's that simple when it comes down to it. That's the value prop for me, is storage on a blockchain that will forever be decentralized, forever be existing, until the AI take over, of course.
Yeah. And I think, again, like without additional context, does it really have value or does it matter? That's, I don't know. I think a lot of the things that have been thrown up there or minted as ordinals right now are literally just hype and trying, like they're trying to just say, well, if it's a low inscription number, then it has value just by nature of it being it. But if you're just minting junk just to have it there forever, like that doesn't necessarily become valuable, right? And I think that's where things break down for me. But understanding, again, what is the purpose of this within the larger ecosystem or within bigger narratives, understanding that it is more limited but more pure, as they call it, right? And that it will last forever. How does that provide more value to something that you're building, or a product or a story or a community? Again, I think the idea of it being like your high-end museum for like the most important assets or pieces of your story, I actually think that makes a lot of sense, or at least the way I'm thinking about it right now. To me, I'm seeing that as something that could make sense, right? So yeah, that's what I would say for anybody who's like trying to understand like what's valuable or why you might use it, is trying to think of this as part of a larger narrative. Does it make sense? Like, you know how like Ronan's so good at this. He's always asking the question, like, does this thing need to be an NFT? Mm-hmm. Like, not everything needs to be an NFT, right? Like, so why does this thing, before you go minting a big project, why does it need to be an NFT? I think that's the same exact thing we have to do here. Yeah. Why does this thing need to be on BTC? It's not scalable. It's expensive. It's like there's no infrastructure for it. Like, it's not going to necessarily just create a bunch of value overnight. Most things aren't. So why does it need to be an ordinal, right? That's the question. And if you can, and again, I think Oni has an answer for that, with their main characters and treating it like their museum.
A lot of great comments are coming through, as well as questions, right? Like, I think the idea, and we do a great job here, I think, on the show, of having different takes where everyone's not just like, hell yeah, ordinals, like this is going to be the thing, right? Like we have to be able to have different viewpoints and discuss those viewpoints. So Got is saying, changing BTC into ETH is so fetch.
Gat, bro.
Gat. Okay, Gat traps. Gat, GATTTRAPS.
The disrespect. The Gat trap. Put some respect on Gat's name. Come on, bro.
Speaking of this, I'll get to the comment, but the calling gifted is the similar approach of calling me, and I love when people call me NFTYQ or like NFTQ. Like, it's, guys, it's Nifty Q. If you do that, that's fine. You know, if you call me that, do it. But if you know me for a while, it's just Nifty Q.
I think like it's Nifty Cutie.
All right, so from now into history, I'm inscribing Nifty Q on the Bitcoin blockchain because it's Nifty Q. So GIF Dead, we're going to talk here today about some other things, but let's round out this conversation. Gat is saying, if we make all chains the same, none are unique. Is this just an attempt to undermine Bitcoin as sound money? Knox is saying, thank you so much for the answer. I'm just trying to understand BTC ordinals better before I try it. Donar saying, personally, I don't think being on Bitcoin adds any shine over the utility and community of Ethereum. Nordstrom's versus Walmart. So
it's a different utility. The utility here is the idea of immortality, right? It's like, yeah, it's just like, do you think that this thing will be valuable because it lives on forever? Does it have a purpose to live on forever? And if so, like, do you want to own that thing? Like, there's so much hype and bullshit around it right now. I think what we're trying to do is demystify it a little bit, and hopefully we're making more sense. Not everything needs to be a Bitcoin ordinal, and it doesn't necessarily gain value just by nature of being on Bitcoin.
And definitely not if it's like, if there's any type of like large supply, right? Like that the BAYCs are not going to be moving over in mass. It doesn't make sense for what the features of the project are.
No, it actually creates more limitations and makes it more difficult to do anything.
It does decrease supply on the east side. So if you guys want to do that, go ahead and do that. All right,
burn your apes. Go ahead, burn your apes, fam.
To round out the combo, like one of my favorite movies ever is Interstellar, and one of the scenes at the end of the movie is when he's like falling into. I want to say the term is it's not parallax. It's God, what is that cube term where he's on like in a 4-dimensional space? You guys are gonna know it. I always love this because when we're up here talking, like someone's instantly like, "Oh, that's what it is." But when he drops in, essentially like seeing the world differently and how it actually might exist, where we can only kind of see the world through our eyes and our experience. That's how I saw these ordinals, right? Like I'm thinking like these ordinals are actually on a different chain. Like I visualize these 515 ordinals as like on their own adventure. Like that's
in a different parallel universe or something.
And some people are saying this about the metaverse. Like I think Biggie brought up the fact that like, why do we have cars in the metaverse? Like there's no need for cars to be in the metaverse. We could just get there.
Good point.
But I just thought it was funny because instantly when I see these specific, right? I think they said 535 Bitcoin ordinals. It like spawned a way of thinking about these ordinals that I had never thought about NFTs before. You know, like they're literally on their own chain. Like it felt like they were kind of having their own adventure. Just an interesting kind of like thought process it evoked. The Tesseract, of course. Quantum variant, of course, coming through with what we need. The Tesseract. Quantum variant saying art blocks on Bitcoin. Gat is saying I've got an album minted to Polygon. I already feel immortal. So
it's just like I think that art blocks definitely is one of those things that would make sense to have some kind of overlap with ordinals, but like not every art blocks project needs to be on ordinals. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a specific reason or a specific project that makes sense, or maybe there's some part of certain projects that makes sense. Again, like if art blocks wanted to commemorate or protect or support certain ideas, you know what I mean, that are most important to what art blocks is all about, then I think it makes sense. But like for them to move their entire platform or like be minting a bunch of big projects, I don't think it makes sense at all. I do think like, you know, kind of like how Yuga experimented with a Bitcoin ordinals focused project, that could be cool. I think it would be cool to see art blocks do something specific that is like, hey, this is our first ever art blocks ordinals experiment, keeping it low supply, keeping it really unique. You know, maybe they'd again have to do some kind of interesting auction function. Hopefully the art's better than 12-fold.
Feels like a chain that should be. We talked about the specialization of chains, and we need to move on from this topic. But specialization of chains feels like Bitcoin's a great place for art.
Well, the other thing though here,
no other, like they don't have the smart contract feature. To your point, they don't have this like whole like, what's the term I'm using? Like the integrations aren't the same that you would see on something like a Ethereum wallet, where you're able to like interact in different ways.
Yeah, well, that's the other point that I was going to get to that's interesting here is like, I don't even think Bitcoin could support any art blocks projects because those are all on-chain generative art that are literally like HTML code that are generating. Like, so I guess that would be a question like, can BTC literally even handle any art blocks generative art and any projects on their platform at all the way that it's currently built? And if so, how expensive is it to write that kind of generative art onto BTC? I feel like maybe it's possible, but it's just really expensive. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. That would be a fascinating question though. So quantum variant, maybe if you have a better understanding of like, can BTC even technologically support the kind of generative on-chain art that art blocks creates, it'd be good to know.
Okay, we are an hour into the episode here, the last episode of NFT Live for the week. Leave a like on the episode if you're liking the content. If you're liking Gift Ed's man bun that's hidden behind a black beanie and a black hoodie. My man's looking like an NFT investor today. I got some things here that I need to show off on NFT or on Twitter. Pranksy is saying, if I get 10,000 likes in this tweet, I will buy one floor Chungos NFT. One?
This is so dumb. It's a stunt, but whatever. I liked it. Give it a like.
If I don't, I will never buy a Chungos. I'll take it.
This is the dumbest stunt. This is the dumbest stunt I've ever seen.
Could have
but like
least.
it, but do it anyway.
All right. At the beginning of the episode as well, we asked you guys to come into this tweet here, the NFT Live episode tweet for the day. Drop in a community topic. The X-Copy question is as well. X-Copy rumors for tomorrow. Do you have anything on that, GIF? Because I don't. Just off the top of my head.
I do not, but here's what I do know. X copies and how does that make you feel? Sold for 355 ETH. Congrats to Kevin Rose. Kevin Rose.
Oh my God.
K-Ro sold an X copy for $635,000. So
the whales keep winning, baby.
Sheesh.
Jesus, right.
That's crazy.
Okay. We got to get on to the remainder of the episode. Shout out to Kevin Rose. So you needed a dub, my man. So congratulations. Here we go. We have the NFT Go Bagcheck. Let me get it one more time for Gifted in the back. NFT Go
Bagcheck.
You held that. You held that,
bro.
Right.
You're missing me whenever I'm like going in. And you're like waiting for me. Like we got to do it at the same time.
I just feel like there's a restream latency issue. So we love that you guys are here with us. We know you have a lot of things to do on this Thursday, so we appreciate the time. Otherwise, let's get into the NFT Go Bagcheck. Barometer is up. We moved up 4 degrees on this barometer to 35. Still a lot of people in 30-day profit and loss. This is like your bear market, bull market indicator here. When this starts to turn green, the momentum has changed enough where, hey, we are going to be flying here, folks. All right, the blue chip index that we're looking at does not look good against ETH. We've shown this multiple times. This is kind of what we've been alluding to. We are just continuously falling off a cliff here over the last 30 days. And then here over the last 3 months, it's not looking good either. I don't even want to look at the 1 year. The USD has fallen off. We're kind of again at that where we were to start the year of January. So we're kind of falling in USD terms as well. This is what I'm worried about, man. Like this is what we've been talking about on the channel for the last week. Is what the hell is gonna happen to NFTs? We're clearly in max FUD territory. Market cap not looking much better. Here's the 3 month on market cap against ETH. It's fallen off a cliff in the last 30 days. USD, I think we might be up a little bit. Let's go out to 3 months. So we're up to start the year on USD. But man, that ETH chart does not look good. Categories and collection distribution real quick. Over the last 24 hours, Wrapped CryptoPunks taking the lead, but their lead is dropping. It was like 30 or 40% of volume on ETH over for the most part over this week. It looks like Bored Ape is catching up. Other deeds are catching up in run up to the other side. Second trip. Azuki, Pudgy Penguins, Doodles, and Clonex making an appearance. And then over the last 7 days, that's kind of a better look at what's been going on. So that is the NFT Go Bagcheck. I believe Blur, again, is still just, putting OpenSea over a barrel here. So we will get on to our main topic. But, Gif, based on NFT Go Bagcheck, what do you got?
I mean, look, we'll say it again. Nothing we talk about here is financial advice, fam. We are not financial advisors. But
yeah,
I really do feel like things are so beaten down and there's so many solid projects that are so undervalued right now. Like I wish I had a bunch of additional liquidity that I could be swooping up some of these projects. Like things like World of Women. Dude, World of Women has been a strong fucking project. It's down around 1 ETH right now. Mm-hmm. That to me is like, I feel like that's a project that when a bull market comes back, it's going to do incredibly well. And I think there's a bunch because of the history, the provenance of it, what it stands for, the people that are behind it. Like there's a lot of people that like that project. It has been getting fudded lately though. Apparently like some things are coming out about like one of the founders. So again, I don't know about that part of it, but I'm just throwing that out as like one project that I am looking at that I feel like is really undervalued. I think Doodles too. Like I think not Doodles too, but Doodles also. I think Doodles, is another example. It's just gotten fudded to death for, some of it deserved. Some of it deserved. Let's be clear. Like they've fucked up. They're not doing that great right now, but it's like they have a strong IP underlying it. The art is good. People fuck with it. And they've got a lot of big things they're building, and they've got lots of resources. They raised a ton of money. So it's like they're not going anywhere. They're going to keep building. They've got established partnerships and relationships. Like, I just feel like a lot of these projects, when a bull market does come back, they're going to do tremendously well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is what I'm seeing is, we are at the year
max FUD,
the year low. We're at max FUD. What's the saying about like, when people are scared, it's the time to, buy. Like, I just feel like we've got to be close to the bottom of NFTs. We've got to be close. Like we've been trying to say, like, when are we going to get there? It's been bad for months at this point. Like keeps getting worse. And it's just like, not all these projects that are getting fudded to death, that are getting beaten down, that are, again, Blur is also playing a big part in this right now, the farming of it. Like when all that goes away, even just removing Blur farming, how does that impact a lot of the floors? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is I really think that for the smart people out there, like, again, it might make sense to keep some ETH and keep your powder dry. It might make sense to be moving into Bitcoin right now. But it also might make sense to be looking for some really awesome projects that you love, that have a good track record, that have good community, that have good art, that are undervalued right now. Because, like Don R and like what we were saying earlier in this episode, if you've got the main significant other, you've got the side piece, and then NFTs are like the crazy cousin or some whatever else weird analogy. And they're the ones that swing the hardest, right? They're the furthest out on the risk spectrum. What that means is they swing the hardest. So they go down the farthest, but they can also go up the farthest, right? It's high risk, high reward out there on the bleeding edge, far out there on the risk spectrum when you're in NFT territory. Yeah. But they're beaten down pretty far right now. They've gone down further than everything. So they're hitting that like far down swing right now. I just feel like there's got to be opportunities. And if we aren't at the bottom, we've got to be really fucking close to the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, here's the question that we've been posing here as the bear market continues. And as we've seen Doodles and Moonbirds really, really getting hit heavy. I mean, that's that blue chip index.
Moonbirds is...
I would buy a
Doodles
before one. I would buy a Moonbirds. That's the thing. It feels like the FUD on Doodles is a little bit more acute. Like it's more like, oh, this event happened. I think they figure out the utility and the launches of these different projects. I think they have taken a couple kicks in the face with a couple of their product launches. They'll learn from it. Whereas Moonbirds feels like, I don't know, it definitely feels a little bit more negative. Maybe I'm biased a little bit, but it feels like Doodles has the stronger brand, has the better IP. They both are around the same floor price. I'd buy a Doodles here before I buy Moonbirds. Not financial advice.
Interesting.
Cyber brokers, that's another good one. Jack Sideway saying, spent some time with the NFT Go guys at Disrupt LA. Love what they're doing and where they are coming from. Gat is saying, prepare for the squeeze, compressed holders, bailing bailers, time to build a rocket ship, pandemic, bear market, inflation, the Fed, supply chain, war. Are you tired yet? What else could be thrown at us and we're still here? I agree with that. That is one thing where you look at like the global macro and the fact that Bored Apes are still and punks are still holding 60 ETH. You think about that shit in real time and you're like, why? Other than the perceived value of what Yuga will put out in the future, you're just like, people are still trading JPEGs for $100,000 in an environment like that.
Dude, if
saying that out
you
loud
want to pull weird. Up, you should pull up the thing in the chat, man. Pull that up, show it off.
What is it?
That's the X copy that just sold for $635,000. We're in the middle of a bear market, and there are still sales for JPEGs. Or GIFs. This is a GIF in this situation. This X copy, Cairo sold it for $635,000. So
Looks dope.
yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I like the visual of like the animation of kind of what would you even call that? Like you're much more of an artiste collector than I am.
It's grain. It's a grain. It's
Grain.
like a grainy effect,
Effect,
and it's just like a looping grain effect. Gives it some motion, gives it some texture, gives it a little bit of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing that in. Okay. Biggest topic of the day we are about to get into. This is kind of a meme level announcement, first of all, that we got hit with this morning, which was that the SEC is actually charging Tron founder. So Jay Sun, the man who will not die as it comes to news.
I didn't know he was the founder of Tron because you were talking about him this morning. And then, in Denver, we actually had some Tron guys come through and you got really excited and I was less familiar with all that.
Yeah, I need an analogy here. Tron is like the Blur of that day. Maybe even more popular. I'm trying to make. I'll have a better analogy by the end of the episode. If anybody knows what Jason was around for the last cycle, give me a better analogy than Blur. SEC charges Tron founder Justin Sun, celebrities Lindsay Lohan, Jake Paul with crypto violations. This is now across the board of what is happening. So the SEC in the last week and a half has come at these celebrities that I just showed you. Sushi Swap got subpoenaed. We also have now the Coinbase litigation that's about to be happening. I don't know if I'm using the direct term there, but essentially they got a warning from the SEC about some of their assets that they allow to be bought, sold and traded being securities, and therefore needing to be under the jurisdiction or the regulation that the SEC provides.
It's called a Wells Notice, which is a formal declaration that SEC staff intend to recommend an enforcement action. So it is a warning.
Jack Hideaway just asked if the money Crow just made is that going to ProofDAO?
Well, that's I almost said something about that when you're saying that you'd rather pick up a dude than a bird, and I was like, well, he just raised over $500,000 that he could put back into their thing. I don't know. Probably not. I'm sure he needs it.
Jason also owns BitTorrent. I like that. Hey, Gif, I brought the topic up. Jason, or most likely Lindsay Lohan, Jake Paul, and there were a few other celebrities that I can get to in the article. It looks like Soulja Boy part of this as well. So this is all for the marketing of the BitTorrent token, the BTT, which was big at that time as well. I think it was like in 2019, 2020. How much do you think altogether, not the JSON, I don't know if JSON's effectively involved in this fee, but how much do you think that fine amongst all those celebrities amounts to? Just guess. Give me a guess.
Oh, no. I want to say like somewhere between $200,000 to $500,000
per person.
No, I wasn't going that
really?
high. I was saying all of it together.
See, this is the thing. These celebrities probably made a shit ton of money. If Jay Sun is paying them, he's definitely going to overpay for exposure. He's like a marketing guy there on that front. Yeah, it is. It's $300,000 between all of these celebrities. They all probably had to pay like $20,000 each or $30,000 each. Which again, that's the typical thing. It's like, yeah, break the law and get a slap on the wrist when it comes to paying up and paying the piper. So,
dude, my predictions are on point. I just got to say that.
Gensler saying, so this is a smaller story. We want to get to the bigger story, but Gensler about this is, BitTorrent celebrity influencer piece. He's saying this case demonstrates again the high risk investors face when crypto asset securities are offered and sold without proper disclosure. So it's something that Gensler can conveniently point to say, hey, watch out, guys. Crypto, and again, Jay Sun, like this is the worst. This is the 1% of us that get highlighted to the world and say like crypto is a funding terrorists. It's money laundering. Look at Justin Sun, and these guys like, watch out, people. It's like Justin Sun's the worst of us. But again, it goes back to Sam Bankman-Fried. He was the worst of us when it comes down to it. But who do people know when you talk about crypto? The worst of us. So it's unfortunate.
Somebody start writing beautiful headlines about Nifty Q. Nifty cutie. Somebody start putting out some good stuff out there. People need to know about all the good deeds that Nifty Q, this guy over here, is doing.
Facts.
That'll change the narrative.
Okay, so I'm going to get into the main topic, though, around the SEC. So this is that today, and this is a tweet from Brian Armstrong yesterday. Today, Coinbase received a Wells notice from the SEC focused on staking and asset listings. A Wells notice typically precedes an enforcement action. 2 years ago, the SEC reviewed our business in detail and approved Coinbase to go public. Our S1 clearly explained our asset listing process and includes 57 references to staking. Coinbase runs a rigorous asset review process and has rejected more than 90% of assets that have applied to be listed on the platform. While we understand that this is all part of the journey to reforming our financial system, we are right on the law, confident in the facts, and welcome to the opportunity for Coinbase to go before a court. We are proud to stand up for our customers and the industry in these moments. Going forward, the legal process will provide an open and public forum before an unbiased body where we will be able to make clear for all to see that the SEC simply has not been fair, reasonable, or even demonstrated a seriousness of purpose when it comes to engagement on digital assets. In the meantime, Coinbase will continue to do what we do best, build the most trusted products and services in order to advance our purpose of updating the financial system and creating more economic freedom. We're excited to work with all governments and regulators around the world who are focused on putting in place clear rules to regulate the crypto industry. So I don't usually sit here and read off an entire thread, but Brian Armstrong has been one of the great people in our space, and he has led one of the most important products in our industry. So it's important that in a moment like this, we hear what he has to say. And what he has to say was that they were trying to work with the SEC and have been trying to work with the SEC, and the SEC will not work with them. And that's where we're at today.
Yeah. Shout out Brian Armstrong. Give that guy some love. Give him some support. Give him some flowers. Because we need this guy. We need leaders like this. We need people that actually have resources to fight these legal battles and set good precedents out there. And again, regardless of what you think of Coinbase as a marketplace, we need them to win, to do well here. We should all be rooting for them. And so, Brian Armstrong, I salute you, sir. And we are here to support you. If you ever want to come on our network and talk, say your case, you're welcome to come here, man. This is important stuff.
So this is the chief legal officer here at Coinbase. Over the past 9 months, Coinbase has met with the SEC more than 30 times, sharing details of our business and our path forward. During this time, the SEC has given basically zero feedback on what to change or how to register. Instead, today we receive a Wells notice. So, getting back to the video that we watched yesterday, and I mentioned this on the morning show, we're watching Russia and China effectively come together to form an alliance to rival whatever is happening in the West. They're trying to de-dollarize the world, essentially.
De-dollarize.
And we were looking at that like, okay, Russia, China, they have their own problems. Russia is, primarily probably in that relationship going to be a proxy for resources. China is dangerous, yes, but has their own problems. The problem we came to by the end of the episode, because we're political science majors, is that our own government is moving in the wrong direction on all this stuff. It's not necessarily the factors from the outside. It's that we're being eaten from within. And it just sucks. And this Coinbase story is an example of that more plainly than any story we've seen in the last year.
Yeah. It's a bunch of shooting ourselves in the foot repeatedly until we can't even walk, can't even really crawl. We're like blasting our legs off with freaking shotguns at this point. It's not pretty.
It's not even cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's blasting yourself with a shotgun in your knees.
Basically.
That's incredibly graphic.
But it's just like what we were Where's that NFT? Let's show that one. It is like, though, it is very it's very much a situation where it's ours to lose, and it seems like right now, I think the U.S. and our government is taking a lot of things for granted, like our status in the world, the dollar status in the world. You know, I think a lot of things are being taken for granted right now, and you know, it's ours to lose. In that if like people want the U.S. to win, we want the U.S. to win. We want to be here. I want to stay in California and build in California. But like, if it gets to a point that it's so unfriendly to innovation, to Web3, to crypto, to all the things that we care about, then like we have to go somewhere else. And there will be other places that are more friendly. That's a fact. There are other places that are always trying to supplant and you know, opportunize or take advantage of your weaknesses. And like, we are making ourselves weaker, I think, by not having more intelligent conversations and real leadership at the highest levels of our government on these important topics with regards to entrepreneurship, the future of business, the future of finance. All these things fucking matter. These things are not just JPEGs. These things are not just cryptocurrencies. This stuff is billions and billions and maybe trillions of dollars of future value that's going to be created over the coming decades. And like, where's that business going to go? Where's that value going to flow? Where are those businesses going to show? I was trying to rhyme there.
I'm trying to find. So Anthony Pompliano has had a good finance podcast, and it used to be more crypto related than it is now, but it is finance and tech related. And he just had Kathy Wood on. So I'm trying to find that for you guys. In the meantime, trying to make sure this happens. You know, the show goes off without a hitch. But Ryan Selkis is a great follow. He is on Capitol Hill all the time. He's the former founder of Masari. I don't know his involvement today. I mean, it says he's the founder, so I don't know if he's, you know, running day-to-day operations or what have you. But he just came out with a tweet that said, "I just sent a letter to a dozen congressional leaders outlining the economic and technical potential of digital assets." The TLDR here from Ryan Selkis, who, again, I think if you don't follow this guy and you're interested in regulation as it, you know, comes to crypto, you need to. The letter is thoroughly documented. TLDR, Congress must act urgently. The status quo will harm the U.S. economy and national security. Congress should exercise oversight and authority over the out-of-control financial regulators. It shouldn't be that hard. We need a coordinated campaign for crypto. I'll be writing more about this in weeks ahead, and invite other founders and investors to reach out for detail. The letter to Congress is the first step, but there's much more to do in the upcoming battles. I'll see if there's any other takes to take away from Xplow. I see you in chat, but what are your thoughts here on 2-Bit Idiot, Gift Dad?
Yeah, I mean, we need more of this. I've been saying for a while how important this upcoming election cycle is for all of us, right? And it seems like he's realizing, and other people are starting to realize, we got to organize and like do something. Otherwise, you know, we're just fucked, because our Senate, our government, like the average age of our congressional leaders, they're old, they're outdated, they have no freaking clue what they're doing. And we're in a bad position with the status quo. Like the way things are operating right now, the regulators are just like, they're attacking crypto. And part of it, I think Q, you did a good job of explaining the fact that like they're like very purposefully not creating clear guidelines so that they can basically do whatever the fuck they want and run amok.
Yep.
And Coinbase is receiving the hard end of that stick right now, it seems like. But luckily, again, they're going to fight back intelligently and try and show that case that like, look, y'all are not operating in good faith effectively, right? You're not providing any real guidance here. You're literally just coming down on us, despite the fact that you've, you know, like moving the goalposts, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're just moving the goalposts and coming down on us, trying to set examples, trying to take advantage of the fact that like you haven't clearly established your own guidelines.
So this is this is an article from Reuters as well. U.S. SEC threatens to sue Coinbase over some crypto products. Along with, I mean, this is a really cool tweet right here. This is an underrated tweet because everyone's asking the same question you just asked, is like, how can we get involved in supporting this? You know, even at local levels, I think was also dropped in chat. Many people have asked me some version of how can I support this cause, and frankly, there hasn't been a great answer for individuals and small firms. This will change very soon. A campaign for crypto requires the coordination of multiple entities and hundreds of leaders.
You know what? We're here for it. We're part of it.
You know who else is part of it, Gift Ed? You'll be happy to know. President of Polygon Labs, Ryan Wyatt, with large. I mean, you can tell like we're up here waxing poetic about the state of politics and the financial industry in this country as it's related to crypto. But I mean, Ryan, like everybody's involved in this. Everyone is reacting to this.
But what he says right there, countries with clear policies will foster innovation. Boom. Boom. Let's go, Ryan Wyatt. Let's heckin' go.
Another thing from the article, I mean, from his blog post here, or his tweet, one thing is clear: the future belongs to those who are bold enough to embrace the opportunities for tomorrow. He goes, some of the best American companies like Starbucks, Nike, Facebook, JP Morgan, I don't know about that, MasterCard, Warner Music, Reddit, Adidas, NFL, DraftKings are building on public networks like Polygon, regardless of where those networks are developed. New great American companies like Coinbase, trusted in the U.S. as a home for technological innovation, but recent actions by U.S. regulators, seemingly supported by U.S. politicians, have eroded that trust. So that's my question. Like, I don't want to get too existential, but why is this happening? Like, do they not see that they literally have the shotgun pointed at their knees? Like, they have to be smarter, especially when the visuals of China and Russia coming together are on their TVs and on their phones. Like, you almost get to like I wish Marty McFly was here, because it almost gets to tinfoil level hats of like how much of our country is controlled by outsized forces. Because they can't be this idiotic. They cannot be this idiotic.
So first of all, I really like that you like my shotguns to the knees metaphor or analogy.
Hey, Marty's gonna catch up. He's on the World of Women, so he'll be here in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So I really like this. The shotguns to the knees. Let's keep that one for a while. Seems like it's sticking. It's a powerful visual, if nothing else. I think to me, the only thing that can excuse it is entrenched corporate interests and a real feeling of threat coming from crypto towards fiat, dollar, Federal Reserve, etc. These are the two things that like have to explain it somehow in my head. It's like entrenched corporate interests, like banking, again, that could be the Fed too, but like the bankers, any sort of traditional status quo type people that are invested in the current monetary banking systems or anything else tied to that, which could be a lot of things that are making money hand over fist and don't want to lose control or their cash cows and don't want things to change drastically, don't want to be disintermediated by crypto and decentralization. So that could be more than just the banking sector. It could be a lot of things at that point. So entrenched corporate interests that don't want to see this change because they're making a lot of money. And then things like the Federal Reserve and the banking sector specifically, anyone who's part of running, regulating, managing our traditional financial markets and the dollar and our reserve and all these types of things that may be actually feeling like they are under threat by crypto and Bitcoin and all this stuff, that they're just saying, you know what, fuck all this noise. It's hurting the way that we have always done things. Change is scary.
So basically, even though change is scary, like your ultimate survival is dependent in this new future on holding down innovation. Like, and when I say holding down, I mean keeping it in the country. That's my whole thing. So you're saying they just don't see it. Like they don't see. They'd rather live for another 5 years and just be the top dogs than say, hey, what is the long-term sustainability of this fucking country? Like that's what's wild.
Well, hasn't that been the course for our politicians and our ruling class for at least the last 40, 50 years, maybe longer. But it's been like, dude, look at the whole, and like the situation with oil, gas in our environment. Clearly, it's just been like, yeah, we're going to be dead in fucking 10 years, 20 years. We don't give a shit if the earth is destroyed. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, until recently, like we haven't given a fuck about trying to get onto greener technology and more efficient power sources. And it finally got to a point where now like some people are starting to do something, but you can just look at how dark that whole saga of our history has been, where it's literally just selling out the entire future of the human race and the earth for more corporate profit in the short term. Because yeah, who fucking cares? If I'm going to be dead in the next 20 years, I don't give a shit if the earth ends in 50 years. It's bullshit. But I mean, that seems to be the prevailing quote unquote wisdom or lack of wisdom that a lot of our leaders have shown. You know, I have to say, much as I love this country, during most of my life, at least over the last couple of decades
100%.
that I've seen, like that I've been watching, I have not been impressed by leadership in our country.
God. The visuals, and we're getting, I feel it's tough because we're on NFT Live. Like I almost want to bring this back, but like it's so pervasive into what we're doing that it's like tough. But like the visuals of us leaving Afghanistan and like getting our tails tucked between your legs, that is a visual that like other than those alive for the Vietnam War that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like that was a very clear visual of like, oh, the US is not as strong as you think they are, or we think that was dude, we totally,
or we're just making bad decisions, misguided decisions. Like how much of the shit that we're doing now is literally just to perpetuate corporate interests and like a military industrial complex and certain other things that don't have to do with bigger values or a brighter vision of the future. Right. Like,
yeah. And, you know, I've had family in the military. I'm in a military-ish town without doxing myself completely. But like, so you hear either family members or, you know, from the people themselves that like maybe served in Afghanistan and like new Afghanistanis or Afghanis, sorry, new Afghanis that were basically sacrificed. You know, we're basically like when the U.S. left in the abrupt way that they did, it left them out to dry. Like this is the state of where we're at. So I agree with you completely. Like we left Afghanistan the way it was, and so many people got left out to dry, and it's the state of our country right now. We're at max FUD with the U.S. right now as well.
Well, and again, and we're talking about it because we care. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, the reason we care so much about this is because we are Americans and we give a shit about our country. But like to Quantum Variant's point, like we need more young blood in the government. I have to say this as a last point, since we're on politics, dude. Capping the age of our Senate and our Congress, I think it has to happen. We can't have people in there for their entire lives until they're fucking 80 years old who literally are out of touch with like what's actually happening on tech. Like technology is dictating so much of our world at this point. We can't have people that don't understand technology making policies. Like we can't have fucking 80-year-old senators that have been in there for 20 years, man. Like they don't know what the fuck they're even doing.
Some of the questions that they ask are like beyond wild. They are just like barely.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, dude.
They are barely able to function like on their, like it feels like on some apps on their phone. Like their knowledge of what's going on.
It's embarrassing, man. There's got to be term limits for all offices, especially like I think there has to be an age limit in my opinion. But I agree, Quantum Variant, and yeah, I mean maybe we can bring it back from the politics side of things a little bit. But obviously, but look, you know what? Again, this election cycle is going to be really, really key and important to the future of crypto in the U.S.
This is kind of, I first of all, I agree with you. Thank you guys for following us down this politics rabbit hole, by the way. It seems like you guys are enjoying it. Justin Casey saying, stop the fapping, shotguns to the knees. What is life, yo? I love this trend of more conservative politicians adopting this like stance against CBDCs. Like somehow it is fiscally conservative to say that we should not have CBDCs, which is not, you know, kind of wild to think about, you know, because
what I hope is that this isn't just a political football, because like so many of these things, you know, again, it's hard for me to trust people like fucking Ted Cruz and Ron DeSantis. Like, dude, especially Ted Cruz, dude. I think Ted Cruz is such a piece of shit.
Ted Cruz
so it's just
I like DeSantis. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there are a lot of takes that he has which are trash, but I kind of like some of his financial policies.
And that's fine, but I just mean, like, it's hard to trust anybody, especially when an election season comes up. Like, are they just saying shit because they think it's gonna get a rise and get some kind of support, or do they actually have know what they're talking about and like really believe in any of this shit, right? So yeah, I would be excited to see a lot of movement behind this idea of no CBDCs. I would be for that, but like we still need clarity and regulation for crypto in general.
What's a faster thing that's gonna? This is the last question, and we'll wrap it up. I think you've had a lot of great points. We've had some great points coming through in the chat. But Xplow is asking, if you were trying to destroy the country, what would you do different? Like, what can we possibly be doing different right now than driving off all of our innovators and tech creators and just taxing them all to hell? And Ronan's coming in saying deep combo today. Yeah, it wasn't light. We didn't stay shallow, I'll tell you that.
We're just not shallow guys. You know, we got a lot going on. A lot of things to talk about.
All right. Anything you would do different, Git, if you were the pseudonymous leader of this country?
I would be gaslighting people into thinking that there's aliens. I would be continuously spending more money on our military instead of our education and healthcare systems. I would be continuously fomenting division between the right and left side, not having any sort of intellectual nuanced conversation in our media or in our politics, but making everything polarized as it possibly can be, so that everybody's just tearing each other apart internally, talking about fucking civil wars and shit, pretending like we're all different from each other and we hate each other, even though we're actually for the same country and we're all just trying to get along and we actually have a lot in common. Yeah, those are a couple things
that
I do.
I'll be on your ticket.
That's to destroy the country, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
How would you further destroy? I'd basically just keep doing the same shit.
You could run it on like some type of like meme where all of your takes are to destroy the country, but you'd actually do the exact opposite. See? So you build the country up by not doing the things that they're doing now. Anyways,
I did want to briefly address one of Marty's comments. I'm not going to address all of Marty's comments in the chat, but one of the things he said is when blur farming stops, that NFT floors will drop further. Could be true.
I think so.
Could be true. But we don't know that though.
Yeah, we
don't know that.
It's an if.
It's an if, but like that's the other side of the coin. Like there's definitely a chance that like, you know, all of this farming and activity in terms of like bidding is propping up floors. So they could just drop further. But also again, like we don't actually know the effect.
You were talking about the rocket fuel. There's a potential. There's another timeline in our alternate Avengers universe where, because of that rocket fuel, both downwards and upwards, floors would not have tanked as quickly as they are right now.
Yes,
that's the other take of it. Without liquidity, you maybe see like floors hold a little bit better.
Yep. Anyway, yo, this chat has been freaking lit today. Seriously, appreciate everybody for coming along on this weird journey into politics with us today. But you know what? Again, we should all try and educate ourselves and actually be on top of this. If you care about the space, this election season is really going to matter. And you know what? I'm sure we'll have to have more political combos, even though it's not our normally scheduled programming. But big shout out to all y'all who have been killing it in the chat.
Ted Cruz will make an appearance on our thumbnail gift day at some point. Okay.
Okay. Here's my only ask on that, Q. Use your face on that thumb. I don't want to be. Gotcha. I don't want anything to do with that.
Is there a politician that you want to potentially, like, if another politician was on the thumbnail, are you okay? Like any politician that you'd be okay being on thumbnail with?
Not really. But like, honestly, I don't really want to endorse any of them, but definitely not fucking Ted Cruz. I want nothing of me.
Got it.
This is, I just like put my weakness out there. Not everybody's going to create fucking GIFs and
100%.
memes of like me.
You're screwed. You're screwed. Hey, the bottom ticker right down there is saying leave a like to hug Doodle. While we stay in this existential discussion here, I think this is an interesting take that is coming out of it. I always love like the response by the community to like get the sentiment, right? Whether you agree with it or not, there are some holders who have spent their last paycheck savings on your project. Respect that responsibility. I feel like that's a take that I hadn't seen about like Poopy's announcement saying, "Oh, floor it, asshole." You know, like that's the vibe, right? Again, like, hey, you guys are just being dicks, or you guys are just being assholes about the floor price and all this stuff. Well, people put a lot of money into your project, and when it's doing well, you're able to ride that wave. But when it's doing poorly, you need to be able to hold that responsibility. So
it's a failure of leadership on his part. He's got to step up and be a leader, and that's not how you be a good leader. Just period. Learn from it and do better, man. Like I get frustrated all the time at the toxicity and the negativity, and I've had moments where I wanted to fucking lash out at people, but you're not actually helping anything by doing that. You're not helping a conversation. You're not being productive. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't like the whole thing of just like throwing the whole NFT community under the bus when things aren't going your way. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. Now, severe misstep by him. Okay, we don't really have that much time left, folks. My conversation with Caitlin Long is now live, and I'm talking as Anthony Populiano, so I should be way crazier when I say this. We're talking about banking crises, Fed response, all that stuff. So if you want to hear for some people that are pretty experienced in the matter, Caitlin Long has been a BTC maxi for a long time. I'm going to drop that in chat. I'm going to listen to this either today or tomorrow to see if I can pull in some insights. But of course,
the pomp, the
Pompliano.
I'm gonna go try and get some pomp today.
Get that pomp on. Okay, last topic for the day. I wanted to talk other side. Second trip is on Saturday. I might miss it. We have like our first game here on Saturday for the
team
that
you and Ronan both. Well, dude, maybe I can figure out how to stream it then. Maybe I'll be the one to stream this time. Maybe we can figure it out.
Set up. There you go. I can get you set up. But yeah, the other side trip, I'm sure that there are like 50 different theories about the trailer that was put out yesterday. Quantum, we always have a good time talking. Other side, you seem to be really interested in that, wondering about your takes there. But we were able to watch it live yesterday, so maybe we come back and have a recap on Monday's edition of NFT Live. I wanted to know what's up?
Can we play it at the how we sometimes go out with our fun Gabe Machete dude? Maybe we can just throw on the Yuga video when we close out.
I can do that. I'll have that ready for us here. AI was the last one. You had an AI episode today on GM Web3 Morning Show. Did you have the tie-in here that I thought was funny was RAC, who we have had on the channel before, early days NFTs, said this is how ChatGPT 4 would regulate crypto, and like has all of the collaboration and understanding, define clear regulatory categories. So everything that they should be doing. But yeah, you had an AI room this morning. Did you have any takeaways or anything like that?
Well, see, here's the fucked up part of this, right? Trying to make a segue happen. Like, given what you just pulled up here, ChatGPT making probably pretty sound and better regulatory decisions for crypto there. How much better off would we be right now if we just outsourced a bunch of our fucking Congress that does nothing to help us to ChatGPT, just making like some informed decisions.
Yeah, see,
scary decision. Right?
That's
scary thought, but like,
yeah, that's like sending ChatGPT back into like the medieval times and saying like, hey, how could we all get better together? And how could we exponentially increase the lifespan of everyone here, not just the top 0.005%? That wouldn't be the right answer for the people in charge here. So, yeah.
Well, Okay, and so sorry, I was trying to segue, but what we talked about this morning is that AI is like the new religion. Like there's new AI religions popping up, and actually, dude, Steven's point about us, like we should just create our own. Yeah, we might be founding our own AI religion here shortly. Let's just put it that way. Mindar, we're coming for you.
Are you using any AI tools beyond like ChatGPT right now, like prompts of just saying like, you know, hey, how do I figure this out? And
I mean, I've used some different tools for different reasons, right? Like people are creating applications with the AI to do all different kinds of things. And to be honest, there's probably AI already in integrated into a lot of things that you're already using, like from a SaaS or like like different products that you're using. Like I wouldn't be surprised if even things like Netflix and like Amazon Prime are already using different AI models to make predictions and recommendations for you, you know? So we probably are already using AI in our everyday lives in ways that we aren't even aware of. But yeah, I primarily just like use ChatGPT here and there for different types of tasks. Like right now we're working on a rebrand for the Nifty Q show. Very excited to get you up on your horse, doing your awesome interviews again. And, you know, we have our own ideas and our inputs, but using it for like some different kind of feedback and dialogues and back and forths to help develop out those ideas. That's a fun task. So yeah, I just use it for like different things right now. But again, like to me, the real opportunities are for people who are able to direct and push it and actually train the AI to create the future of business and technology. And like, cause it's incredibly powerful. It's crazy powerful. Somebody was
can direct it. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about like people have already created like case studies where they, within a matter of hours, basically created a new business online that was making money.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And I've seen literally like, again, Strawberry, like shout out Strawberry. I've seen what Strawberry does with it to like literally program and create new games and shit that are all living on chain. It's just like, dude, people can do insane shit if you know how to direct it, how to ask it questions and train it the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
And properly handle the inputs and the outputs and all that shit, dude. It's so powerful. And dude, I've been saying since I think the beginning of the year, since January, I think what I was saying is if you want to be a literal superhero in 2023 and beyond, like right now for this year and maybe the next coming years, if you want to literally be a superhero, learn how to train and direct AI and ChatGPT specifically. If you can figure it out and become really good with prompts, there's already people getting hired to be just prompt writers for like a bunch of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember like early days where you could like write in a prompt and it would AI generate an image. And I thought like storytellers are going to have a comeback here because those that are able to like accurately put their creative kind of mindset onto paper are gonna, you know, obviously adopt a lot of cool things. It reminds me also of like, to use another analogy, like AI reminds me of like a Formula One car. Like if you have a tool that if you're the top 1% of understanding how to use that tool, you can take it to its max effect. But if you don't understand how, if you like threw me a Formula One car, I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with a Formula One car. I would not be as like performancely enhanced as obviously somebody who's like a Verstappen or anything like that who just kick ass in a Formula One car. So still looking for that investable opportunity. Buff was talking about like the merger between crypto projects and AI being potentially an investment opportunity and how to get involved there. So yeah, anyways. All right. My brain is turning to mush. We hit like 15,000 different topics, it feels like today. Hour and 50 minutes. We appreciate each and every one of you. Don R. saying AI will be a new user interface and we won't use software programs anymore as they will move to the background as natural language just executes our tasks. Xplow says, hope Musk gets us to Mars first before the end of the world. Cannot agree more. We'll figure out how to do
Mars
that.
doesn't, from what I've heard, Mars does not sound that cool. Like we got to do a lot of we got to do a lot of terraforming over there for Mars to be even viable at all. Like it does not sound friendly.
Yeah.
like a comfortable place.
We're on such a futurist. Man, I have so many questions. Like, I'm like, where's terraforming at today? Like, how good are we at terraforming today as a human race? Like, can we go to the middle of the Mojave Desert and like terraform at this? Like, what's the extent of our terraforming? You don't know this answer, GIF? What the heck?
Surprisingly, I haven't read up on terraforming lately. I'm behind. Behind on my terraforming studies.
What time is the trip? ? That is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday. That is the time for the trip. That is unfortunate. Ronan the Collector saying, confirmed, I'm missing the damn trip. Listen, Lindsay Lohan made
free Lindsay Lohan.
I still have the Lindsay Lohan NFT. We haven't talked about it for a year. It feels.
Are they going up? Are they becoming more valuable now because she's getting arrested because she's in the news?
Wow, that was a grift and a half. I still love it. For the historical reference. I still love it. Give a bump to Buff Show. I could give a bump. I can give a little bump, just a little
bumpski, little bump,
little bump.
Little bumski.
Hold on, let me see. Hey, also, it doesn't go by Buffalo anymore, guys.
Guys, come on.
Randy.
I'm always gonna call him Buff though. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me to start like totally get rid of Crypto Buffalo in my mind. He's imprinted on my mind as Crypto Buffalo. So like, I know he's Randy Prim. I get that. I respect that you are Randy Prim. But it's gonna be very hard for me to get rid of the imprint of him as Crypto Buffalo.
I love that he kept 2 videos from his previous life as a YouTuber as well as an influencer. Oh, that's Bird, his cat. Where's Bird? God, we are on some type of like trip right now where we're doing our pre-trip. There's Bird. Okay, that is right. I dropped it in chat. So if you want to check out AI, both Randy Prim and Matt Wolf are obviously going hard in that sector as content creators. We're hopefully having them on the channel next week. I definitely can confirm Buffalo will be on, but we're trying to lock down Matt Wolf. My man's just on a rocket ship. Also,
hopefully Ralph Quintero from Daily Ralpha.
Yes, sir.
Trying to get him on some more. So that was really cool.
You know who we can't do the show next week without though? It's you. Thank you guys. Another amazing week in NFTs and Web3. Y'all were awesome. I cannot say enough about the support that we feel from you guys on a daily basis. So we will be back on Monday. Speak Easy is tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Speak Easy. Let's go.
Cannot wait. You guys were amazing as always. GIF, I'll let you take it out, but we appreciate you, our vibe, our tribe. Oh shit, we got an other side trailer. God damn it.
Yeah, pull that up. We're going to go out with the other side trailer just in case you missed it yesterday. Pretty cool stuff. Speak Easy tonight on Web3 Network on our Twitter. This is not cap. This is not hyperbole. This is not a joke. It is the most entertaining space, the most entertaining show on all of Twitter. You don't want to miss Easy and Crypto and Kane Mayfield when they get together to cause some trouble, cause a ruckus over there on the Twitter. So Speak Easy at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST tonight on the Web3 Twitter. I'm excited. I'll be there listening in, tuning in, and I hope you will be too. And that's it. It's been another amazing week with all of you, and especially you, Nifty Q, my good buddy over here, shouting it out, giving you a fist bump. Appreciate you, dude.
I'm giving you a shotgun.
Shotgun to the knees. Our vibe, our tribe, y'all.
OVOT, yes. Later.